Mounce, BBG, chapter 17, sentence 8 begins with this interrogative, and the way you know that is because you see that acute accent. And if you were wondering and you say, oh, I see the acute accent, the other giveaway is to go down here and you see the question mark, you know you're dealing with an interrogative. Then you got to say, well, what kind of interrogative? Is it what, why, or who? And then you look at the verb, because you know that it's a first person plural, right? Because of that ending. So the other thing you ought to notice is you've got that circumflex again. And I want you guys to get in the habit of noticing that circumflex is kind of one of the big deals. At this point, it's not, because you just know, well, hey, that's what, when you have a contract verb, it's what you see. But more than that, because it can be doing other things. So what you have to do is you have to combine seeing that circumflex with knowing what verb it is that we're talking about. And of course, in this case, we're talking about poieo. And as soon as you say poieo, then you know it really is a contract verb, in which case the circumflex is telling you that it's a contract verb. And again, in this case, first plural. So what you have is we do. So why do we do? What do we do? Who do we do? And I think obviously something like what do we do? It's what we say. That saying hasn't gone away in several thousand years. So what do we do? So in this case, if we run with that and say, well, okay, we're going to take our best stab at it and guess that that's what do we do. Then we come to the hottie, and the hottie, of course, is you can either think because or that. If it's that, you want to think about first, before you think of anything else, say, well, verb of communication or cognition, that's not what we have here. So then you probably ought to say, well, then I probably should lean toward because, unless I have some good reason to do otherwise. So that's what we're going to do here. Again, because this is not a verb of communication or cognition. So we're going to say, what do we do? Because houtos ho anthropos, this the man or this man. All right. And again, it's nominative singular. So you're going to see that that's the subject of this clause that they're introducing. The reason that they're wondering what they ought to do. He says, well, what do we do? Because this man, and then if all you did was do it word by word, which sometimes is a great help, many he does, and then you have, signs or miracles. Okay, either one. I usually go with signs when I see semia because I had to take semiotics at one point in school, so unfortunately. But bottom line is, if you're looking at this, you're looking at these endings again. You see that alpha ending. Hopefully by now, again, you're thinking neuter plural. So that being the case, every time you see a neuter plural, you always got to ask yourself, is it nominative or accusative? Well, your verb, of course, you should recognize as a third person singular because of the iota, and you should know that it's a contract verb because not only do you have the circumflex that tells you that that might be the case, but you should also know that that vocabulary word is from poieo, just like before. Knowing poieo, as soon as you say it, it's a contract verb. Look for the circumflex. Then it's third person singular, simple present active indicative, no big deal. But it's he. So the subject is he. This many as a plural cannot. If this is singular, this can't be the subject because it's plural, and the verb is singular. You don't have subject verb agreement. Therefore, this has to be the direct object, which means that it has to be accusative. All right. So. Also, you see ho anthropos, and you already had your subject. You already had a nominative singular, which would line up with a verb. So, again, process of elimination on several fronts. makes it very, very easy to kind of pull the pieces apart and put them back together and say, yep, everything makes sense. So what do we do? Because this man does many signs, question mark.